The operational efficiencies of the Printronix T5000 thermal printer compared to the Zebra printer. And I'm going to show you basically just out of the box how you would actually install labels and ribbons and how efficient it is from the Printronix perspective. Let's open the top cover of the Printronix. Another uniqueness of the Printronix is the friction fitted top cover. So I lift the top cover in any position and the top cover is physically held there. And again, what does that cause? That cause a concern in the field? If we pan over to the Zebra printer, we'll quickly show you that. There's only two positions for the Zebra cover, down or closed, and all the way to the open position. And what happens here is in the open position, it's laying right over the top, and in the closed position, of course, there is no in between. So what happens is if the cover is banged or bent, it ends up crashing right down. If we look at the inside of the Zebra printer, we're going to see the ribbon mechanism. Their ribbon mechanism is standard in most of the thermal transfer printers in the market. It's a belt and clutch drive system. And if you look at the Printronix printer, you can see ours is our two spindle system, and these are direct drive DC motors. You can hear there as I'm going back and forth. So direct drive DC motors that allow us to do a couple key things. One is to run a larger capacity ribbon. The Printronix printer can run a 625 meter ribbon as compared to the Zebra printer, which is a 450 meter. Now what that means for the operators is less changing of the ribbon. So physically, when I put the Zebra ribbon in, that means every 3 rows of labels I'm going to be replacing this ribbon. On the Printronix printer, every 4 rows of labels. So it increases my productivity and gains me efficiencies in my operation. So let's look at how we actually physically install the ribbons. Let's take a look at the Printronix printer. First of all, we go from a spindle to a spindle with a core to a core. The printer out of the box has an empty core already on the upper spindle. I'm going to open up the printhead assembly, and you can see it's leveled away out of the way, giving me an easy side load. So what we'll do is I'll take my ribbon and I'll slide it on the supply spindle, and then it's just as simple as taking the ribbon and sliding it right underneath the assembly right around and attaching it to the upper take-up spindle and rolling the ribbon up. Basically, again, the key part of the Printronix, as you can see, are blue touch points. I wanted to point that out to you. So as I load the labels on, I'm just going to load them up and roll a number of the labels out and just slide them in and drop them. The labels are now installed. I'm going to move my blue handle up to trap the labels in at the spindle, and I'm going to also have a little blue tab down here that traps the labels. And then all I do is close the printhead up and lock the printhead down. You notice that little back and forth motion of the ribbon. That back and forth motion of the ribbon does two things. It calibrates the ribbon mechanism to tell me exactly how much ribbon is left on the spindle. Since I just changed the ribbon, you'll see in the display an actual display that indicates the gas gauge of the ribbon. So an indication of a full tank of gas, in this particular case, 4 asterisks. And then we can also have a ribbon warning light that the top light will actually blink, telling the operator that the ribbon is needing to be changed. Let's go back over to the Zebra printer and take a look at it. First of all, let's do the same thing. Let's open up their printhead assembly. But you'll notice the printhead assembly is not cantilevered away. You can see that there's a complete plate right in front of the printer. So that makes it very difficult for us to get the ribbon. So normally what the operator is going to have to do, I've taken a label and I've actually rolled the label over the top of the ribbon to act like a needle, and this is the thread. And you notice now I'm going to slide the ribbon mechanism on the Zebra printer all the way on. And then I'm going to physically have to use my needle and thread concept here to slide the ribbon completely under, and with my other hand here, try to grab it actually, and grab the ribbon. And then I'm physically going to have to wind it up around the upper spindle. And you can see this is a collapsible spindle. If you notice, when I turn the spindle, the arms collapse. So what happens is when I'm ready to remove the ribbon, since they don't go to a core, they physically must turn this mechanism and then grab the ribbon and try to remove it, which in most cases you won't be able to remove the entire ribbon at a time. It'll just spindle off and you'll have to take it piece by piece. And it's another mechanism that causes for a failure, because I've got a mechanical mechanism here that can work or not. If this does not remove and collapse correctly, you'll never be able to get the ribbon off. So there was the ribbon, putting the ribbon on both on the Printronix and the Zebra. How do we do the labels? Well, let's take a look at the labels on the Zebra printer. And again, since we have the printhead open, and I'm just going to install them, the printhead open, I'm still going to have to feed the labels through my slot underneath the printer. And I'm going to have to slide them through and use my other hand underneath here to try to find the labels and to bring them around. And then lock the printhead down. So you can see the labels and ribbon on the Zebra are difficult to load because of the feeding action that I must do. Also, if we look at the inside, we have a basically chromed back panel, all die-cast aluminum back panel, which makes it easy for the operator to look in the side view and actually see what ribbon is left on it because of the operator, the clear silver gray in the background. And if you look at the Zebra printer, slide over here, you can see that it's all black inside, which makes it very difficult for them to actually look in from the side panel here when I close the ribbon to actually see how much labels or ribbons are left because of the black background. So that's a compelling story to tell you today, but to tell you about the efficiencies of being able to load labels and ribbons in the Printronix printer compared to the Zebra printer. So it's going to save you time, save you efficiency.